So this is kind of targeted towards beginner, intermediate Drupal users. However, I spend a lot of my time on the user interface. A lot of you maybe are spending all your time on Drush. I don't really spend a lot of time on Drush. And I actually have been spending time recently. In January, I was building a site, and I got interested in trying to bring some of these modules and themes from Drupal 8, or that have been developing recently, into the site that I was working on for fun. And so it means that I've been working recently. And so some of you may not be up on whatever the latest stuff is. And also I'm hoping that maybe I'll find something in there that you haven't come across before that will be interesting. Yeah, so this is a first draft of a presentation that I've been thinking about putting together that would be about UI, the UI interface generally, not just Drupal 8 or recent developments, but picking up on the greatest and best UI improvements for Drupal 7. And I'm still in Drupal 7, and although I'm talking about things that are available in Drupal 8, I haven't spent any time on Drupal 8. And I won't for a while because I'm still working in Drupal 7. That's the list that I'm looking at. Add minimal theme, which I'm a fan of, and I just discovered this year, just in the last 5 months, which is, I'll show you. Module filter and administration views are necessary, and I think you probably all know them. Navbar, this is the Drupal 7 version of Navbar. I'll show you the implementation of Drupal 7. Coffee, most of you probably know, but if you don't, it's a cool little Alfred or Spotlight feature keyboard shortcut that'll pop up a quick search for you to search through the navigation menu. Super Login is very recent, just got released. I read about it. Actually, Chris told us about the weekly drop, whatever it's called, and I started following that, and it appeared just 3 weeks ago maybe as a release, and so I implemented it. And the last is Environment Indicator and Habitat, which I think, does anybody, are there people here who use Environment Indicator and Habitat? Handful, a couple. So there you go. There's something maybe that some of you will kind of come across as that might be interesting. For me, it was a new thing to learn about. The focus isn't on exclusively backported modules. It's really on UI. I'm putting an emphasis on some of the Drupal 8 stuff, but it's really anything that will make the Drupal 7 interface better. So to start off, I thought we'd go through, just take a look to remember what a bare 7.34 install of Drupal is like. You get your login, you get that shortcut bar, you got to close that when you get in. You hover your mouse across, we don't have any drop downs on our toolbar. There's a dashboard. Oh yeah, now we remember there's the overlay by default and set up out of the box for Drupal 7. You can see some of the lists. This is just a regular content list. And some of the lists are better than others. User list. The permissions list is where you start to get into trouble immediately because it's not very friendly or easy to go travel through your permission list out of the box. And you can see it's hard to kind of figure out where to find things or how to group things. And the worst is the module list. And so for me, this is on a test bed, and I actually have like 400 or 300 modules installed on this thing that I just choose when I want. And so I just have a long list and I choose what I want on that particular, in that environment. And so you can imagine if that's what you're doing, then it's not very fun to figure out how to go through this. You also run into problems with this overlay immediately because you can't actually use your keyboard shortcuts to jump down to the bottom of the list in the overlay. You have to scroll over and pull the mouse bar down, or just or use cursor down to get down. So the overlay is being removed from Drupal 8. I think it's unlikely that it'll appear in contrib either. And so to future-proof your sites, if you're building a Drupal 7 site now, you might as well get your users used to, with the anticipation that you're going to be moving the site to Drupal 8. Don't have them learn how to use the overlay. You might as well just disable it right away. This is disabling the overlay. You can see it takes a little while on my list of crazy modules to figure out even where the overlay is. But all you have to do is clear the checkbox, and then you have to figure out how to scroll all the way down there. So, first thing I think that's worth doing is selecting an admin theme. There's been a lot of work in Drupal 8 on themes, and the new 7 theme, it's still called 7, but it's going to be awesome. I haven't spent time with it, but it's not, as far as I know, it's not available being backported yet into Drupal 7. Is that right? Yeah, and I don't know if it'll be backported in its fully responsive way anyway. Add minimal is, I told you, I've just discovered in the last 4 or 6 months. I've totally fallen in love with it. I think it's an awesome admin theme, and if you're not already familiar with it, you get to see it now. Responsive Bartik is just an update that's available to your blank bare install, so that at least if you're going to be doing demos like this one, you have a somewhat responsive, also uninteresting kind of bare Drupal site, but at least there's some responsiveness built in. At minimal, so first thing is check out those colors. I love them. You get these nice, bright, friendly blue, red, green, yellow. Those are actually meaningful in at minimal. They connect them up with particular actions, green or to go. Lots of downloads, 300,000. So I think there's lots of people using it that maybe aren't. It's not a reported install, but the reported installs are about the same as Rubik, which I don't use, but which apparently is a popular admin theme. They're from their list of the things they've got. Nice colored buttons, important text is larger, beautiful icons. There's those buttons again. I love them. I can't help it. It just makes so much sense. It makes the usability of it just so simple instead of having the 3 gray buttons there. So that's their. These are a couple little screenshots you can see. That's from their site. So some of it is just tweaking, but some of it is highlighting blocks, buttons, tabs, that kind of thing. Nice little accents, line accents here and there. And this is the views. So they've also done some work on, not just on views, but actually module filter as well. They've added improvements to those. So if you install those, you get a new look, and actually I like the look of views here. The only thing I'm not a big fan of in that minimal is sometimes they use that font they've got. It's a little bit thin, and I'm not 100% sure how fully helpful it is for people with low vision or vision impairments. I think that could be tweaked, but for me, I love it. Okay, we're waiting for Supercharge. Let's enable at minimal. You guys know how to enable these things. So I'm enable at minimal, and then I go ahead and enable responsive Bartik. When you enable at minimal, you do have to scroll down to the bottom and remember to mark it as your admin interface, because there's at the bottom of the appearance menu, you have to select what your default admin theme is. Now, out of the box, at minimal actually does something weird right now. I don't know if it always has done this, but it drops some default blocks in the top of your admin interface. So the first thing you got to do is get rid of those. It uses a different set of regions, and it moves things into above content. And it is a responsive theme, so it will move things into a single column nicely. But they have a sidebar left and right, but I think those are somehow internal sidebars. I'm not quite sure. I don't understand entirely. In any case, you have to get rid of those first thing out of the box. then the responsive config. Oh yeah, so here you can see the nice icons that they've got, I like it. It's a clean look. I like the addition of kind of friendly icons, and you can see as I compress that this turns into a nice single column, and it turns your config menu into a tablet phone friendly one. Unfortunately, you can see the admin menu at the top. That's the toolbar, the default toolbar. It's not, and so we have to fix that to make it friendly or usable on a phone or other mobile device. Improving lists. So these are two that I think are basically critical for any Drupal 7 site, and they're one of the first things that I put in. Module filter and admin views. The module filter isn't just that list of modules, it also affects the available updates list, and it also affects your permissions list, which is basically just a module, a list of modules. And the admin views, well, we'll see in a minute, but it just brings things that are hidden in your system and makes them visible, editable views. If you haven't used module filter, so module filter has had an alpha release since like 2013, mid-2013. Maybe lots of you folk have been using a dev version or using the alpha version. But if you haven't been, and you've been on 1. Whatever was the stable version, then actually there have been big changes, and the 2.0 version, which just came out stable in February, it's got a full set of new features for you, and so it's exciting. Yeah, and it's under active development. People are making changes now. You can see the last change to the dev was March 13th. This is the list from 2013 of the various new changes. Especially nice work with the tabs on the side that get enabled. And this I don't use, but there are these query operators you can use on these filters if you want to quickly pull up even more refined items in your filtered list of modules. The one thing I would mention is that, although I don't really use them, I did test them out, required by, you do have to spell it like that. Lower R, all one word, capital B. Otherwise, the filter doesn't work. Okay, so let's enable module filter. The way I used to enable things was searching with Firefox, just start typing in, and that's how I would navigate these crazy lists. And so that's what I did quickly. I don't know if you saw it in that demo. Once it's enabled, all of a sudden you get a nice search box, and it makes everything really nice. You can you get some tabs on the side, including a list of recent or new additions. Now, my new addition isn't accurate because I've been doing some work, some dev work, but it's actually a really handy thing. You have a question?
Yeah. So I can see right away that. What has changed the minimal theme to this module?
Oh, it's styling. It's styling. So the add minimal theme.
So like the Xboxes there.
So the add minimal theme has changed these, converted these into instead of off and on. You've got Xbox and check marks. You've got colors. So the check mark is green, and so it's the same colors that they use through the rest of their theme. Their theme. The reason I mentioned the colors is that they really are. It's a theme that has made an attempt to make actions associated with colors consistently through the whole theme. And so things check marks on are green, the X's are grays, and then you'll also see orange ones, which are when they're required by another. You can't disable them because they're required. And there's a little tool marker, right, to show that. So those are the icons. And so this is an example of the available updates list. And you can see at minimal does make the security update stuff pretty significant, so you don't miss it. Not that any of you would miss a security update, but I used to, and I don't anymore. And jump on to the administration views. And so this is just straight off of their module page. It replaces the administrative overview listing pages with actual views for superior usability. And I find as well that for me, I use it to learn how those things have been built. So I can just duplicate them or whatever. I can do similar things. It's helpful for me to figure out where things are going. So this is installing admin views. And so this, you can see an example. Now, if you know the short name, if you type it in, that's the only one that'll come up. Okay? You also notice the save configuration. You don't have to scroll any longer. It's Java, it's Ajax Hub. Just holding it there. Nice. Continue and cancel, nice and minimal. The cancel is an orange. It doesn't show quite orange, but it's orange on the web. Views UI, after you install administration views, you have to enable Views UI, otherwise you won't be able to find any. You won't know what happened if you're a new user. You need Views UI to find and see the views through the administrative interface. And you can see I jumped past some of those things, but those show the views as regular views that are editable views. So if you go into structure, you've got that views link, and there you've got the edit links available to go and do what you like with. Menus. So right now I'm in a weird place. The site that I'm going to I'll show you at the very end. I've got 3 admin things showing that on that site. I've got administrative menu, I've got nav bar, and I've got coffee. And I'm using all 3 of them in different contexts. I wouldn't recommend that on a busier site. This site is a low traffic site that I've been involved with for fun, and so I've enjoyed having all that to work with. The administrative menu, I think, is a classic that people know and love. Install admin menu. So now that we've got the module filter set up, you can just pull in and go into the administration, and they're all collected together. And so we'll just install all 3 of those. The admin menu select we'll need later, so we'll install it now. And that's it. And you can see that's got that orange icon with the little gears, because now it's requirement for something else that's installed. Now the admin menu select, so you won't necessarily have noticed, but we don't have an admin menu bar anymore. And so when we did that, when we added the admin menu select, actually we lost all of the admin bars. So what we have to do first is I'm stopped there. Is go into the your toolbar got disabled, and also you don't have the admin menu available, which should be installed or should be enabled by default. It's just because we installed admin select at the same time. And so you go into configure, and you can see you can choose an administration menu for each of your roles, and that's an ordered list. So you want to actually get the order is first choice. So you want to put your roles in the same order that you would have your permissions ordered. So you want to move your administrator to the top and select what you want as the default administration menu for your administrator. And there, now we got it. And you can see it looks, it won't look exactly like what you're familiar with if you haven't been using the minimal version. So you can see some nice colors again, and they've got little blocky things. They've gotten rid of the transparency. It's a little bit bigger. The text is more readable. I find, especially on widescreen monitor, if you don't start increasing your font, the admin menu gets tiny. This is slightly better. And there's your shortcuts that they've added in, integrated into the admin menu itself. And nice, more colors, log out red, edit blue, who you are green. Okay, now nav bar. So this is sometimes called, or was called, the mobile-friendly navigation toolbar. It's now been renamed as navbar. Good, hallelujah, make everything easier. Unlike everything else I'm showing you tonight, navbar requires some tender, loving care to get it installed. It's not a click install. And so you can see there the list of prerequisites. You've got to manually get those libraries into your library, into your setup. First time I did it, I also ran into various little issues. I had a problem with Modernizer. I couldn't get the right one. It would still, even though I was sure I had Modernizer in there, it was telling me in my status report that there was something wrong. Navbar has its own Modernizer, and so there is some confusion about how it works, although just in the last 2 weeks they've smoothed that out by changing the module priority it's a patch in Modernizer to help to make that work so that there is less issue around that, but still it requires a little bit of work. I'm not going to go through all the steps. I think it takes some time, and you've got to set some time aside to make sure you know how to get it done. Once you've done it, now I just I've got all the stuff already set. I can just drop them into any libraries. They're ready to go. I don't have to install anything anymore. And now I can just enable them. And so that's what I do on this site, is I just enable it because I've already got the libraries there. We'll install some of these. Navbar, and while we're at it, we'll add coffee so we can take a look at it. And there's only a couple others left that I want to look at. Shortcut per role, that I'm going to show you, so it lets you assign a set of shortcuts to different roles. And the other one I haven't mentioned, or I only mentioned at the very start, super login. So I really like super login. It makes once I install it, I thought, yeah, should always have done that. Why not? It's great. Let's see what's next. Login. Oh yeah. So here's the old login. This is the /user page. Type in password. Request new password on a tab there. Create new account. This is the super login version. All one, none of this tab version. And I have had users many times say, can you help, can you send me a new password, whatever. I don't know if it's because the tabs disappear or because they don't see the tabs, but anyway, you can see the usability improvement, it's all there. And so if you, rather than having the request new password, the forgot password is a link right beside the password form. And that just came out. That's new, the super logins. And so it's still changing a little bit, but to me it seems to work. Now, this is the site I've been working on, and it's a school council website. I had fun doing a calendar, got to use the beauty tips, calendar tool tips. Never done that before. That was fun actually. That's all out of the box. This guy, Dave Cooper, from Cooper Web Design, he did the design for the council site. I don't think he's a Drupal exclusive guy, but he has worked with Drupal. It's a Bootstrap 3.0, which I've had frustrations with. But anyway, I've learned some Bootstrap along the way too, so that's been interesting. Now, you can see these, this is in actual live, or in use, how the new navbar works. And you'll find if you drop it down to the vertical, you can actually get a lot of the functionality that you get from the admin menu, dropping down through the hierarchy of menus. If you use the vertical menu, because you can drop in. The horizontal menu, there's just the one level, and so it's not. I don't find it as useful. Now. Oh yeah, so here's coffee. Quick little pop-up, clear cache. I can't clear cache, nothing shows up, clear cache. So you have to actually start to learn so performance that's how you're going to get to your clear cache. So actually you start to learn these weird little shortcuts to get to the things you want. Updates, why am I typing updates? No, that won't get it actually. You'll end up with a long list. You want to type in avail, and that's the fastest way to get to the available, or there's probably a faster way. But anyway, so for that reason, I find coffee sometimes helpful, and sometimes I just get frustrated, and there's things that aren't there, that are available in the admin menu, that are one quick drop-down click in the admin menu. So you'll have to decide, or your users will have to tell you what they like. Shortcuts, so each of these have a different set of shortcuts now, and this is mine, and I can edit them. But let's go into a shortcut per role. If I can figure out where there it is. Shortcut per role. And so here you can see each of these you can assign a different set of shortcuts. I don't know if there's a limit on how many you can create, but I've got a default for most everybody, an administrator set, which are for me and Dave, and then we have just 2 managers, and there you share in one set, although we're giving them editing privileges for their set. So I can edit anybody's. The managers, so that's mine, and you can see you can customize it. It's just like a menu, editing a menu. Here I'm going to pop over to a manager view, and you can see they also can edit their set of shortcuts, but they've got their own set, custom. That's their menu. They have quite a bit of access to the site, the managers, and this is their custom list. That's what I thought they might need, including a link to edit shortcuts so that they can do it themselves if they want. And one thing I just discovered in the last couple of months, it's a little plus sign. What is that for? If you're running shortcuts, you can add shortcut, you can just do it on the fly whenever you're using something, and then you can get rid of them later. Just so that it can be something that isn't a fixed set of shortcuts, but you can think of your shortcut tray as a dynamic set of things that changes as your daily practice is changed. As long as you don't get too many and it becomes unwieldy. And this is the default user. They also have their own set of shortcuts, but they can't do any editing. And this is an example. So instead of using the built-in content list, I wanted to do something that would meet their needs a little better, or what I thought their needs might be. We don't happen to these users. But that's just a view based on a regular content list, and I was able to just copy a lot of the stuff that's in the regular content list. And the last thing I want to show is this environments and environment indicators. So this is a method for if you have multiple environments, so you've got a dev environment, a testing environment, a staging, a production environment. I've disabled these, so now I'm enabling them again on the testing site, so you can see what happens. And I've found these really actually useful, and that's partly because I'm not using Pantheon or Acquia or whatever to do my development. I do it locally, and then I push them up to my server. And so I don't have some of the back-end stuff I'm doing myself. And so this is the indicator, that yellow and that testing, that's because that's the testing environment. And whenever you're in the testing environment, if you can access that indicator, you'll remember, hey, that's yellow, and I've got the colors going. Green is my local, because I can do whatever I want there. Testing is yellow, because I better be a little worried. Orange is my staging, and red is my production. Don't touch it, because I have before gone in and edited it, because they look the same sometimes. And so this makes it it helps you to not get confused. And check out this. They do that themselves. That overlay, the P, they do that themselves on your fab icon. You don't have to create your own. It'll add the P from the first initial of whatever you name it with the color that you name, that you add for the environment indicator. And for me, that's like, wow, that's really cool. So anyway, for me, this was all a lot of fun. There's stuff that goes on with habitat and environment indicator that actually I haven't started to explore. I've been using a lot of my stuff, a lot of my edits and customizations I use in the settings.php file from environment to environment. Using the habitat, and here we'll come up with the staging version once it shows. Using environment indicator and habitat, you can, it looks like you can put all that stuff into some crazy database structured system, and I haven't explored it, and maybe you guys, maybe some of you have. I think that this is a way of enabling and disabling things local for each environment, and so I know some people who are Drush wizards. They do that. They've got some sort of hook after they do their Git stuff, and I'm not sure. I'm learning that stuff. That's where I'm at, is figuring out remote Git, remote Drush, and figuring out how do you do these extra little code things. But in the meantime, there's a UI that allows me to set up these environments and disable, enable, so I can pull my SQL databases back and forth, files back and forth, and I don't do any customization. So I haven't learned how to do those hook after things and whatever. I'm using environment indicators and habitat to do that for me. And so if you're a UI kind of person, a GUI person, and you like that, and you don't already have a workflow for managing that kind of thing, then this is a cool thing to check out. So this I haven't used, and I really am not quite sure how stable this is, or how reliable it is, or how it works, and maybe some of you can tell me how it works. So that's the next step, just figuring out how you do all that. Because that looks like it's built in. Yeah, it's Alex, right?
Yeah. On the environment indicator stuff.
Yeah.
I see V4K stage LCA.
Yeah.
So for each environment, you have to set up a separate domain and a separate host.
I think you can do it any way you like. You can have them in different locations. But yeah, the way I have them set up, is I have a separate subdomain for
whole other explanation.
Yep. And so I don't know the right way to do it. Actually, that's just the way that I've developed.
Yeah. How does it know it's based on the URL? That it knows that it's on the staging and it's on the that and production. I think it is, right? It's on the list, isn't it?
So what is that? Do we keep this information in the database, or it's a file that indicates that you're in that environment? Because it gets tricky either way.
Yeah.
If you move the database from dev to live, you need to make sure you update that with the flags. If you move the files, you need to make sure that you don't overwrite the file. Either way.
I'll show you that actually, because that's it, that's the end. Because this was the last thing I wanted to show, and I don't want to take more time. But I think it's in the database. But the people who developed Habitat, so they're using something called Fetcher, and it's something I haven't tried it to figure out how it works. But they're pulling out, they're getting stuff auto building and stuff. When they have they're using this script to create this set of environments, and then you have them all stored. All your environments are stored as a group, and so when you move back and forth, they're all still there. And when you're at a different URL, then it knows that you're at that's the. Yeah, and you might be getting into the intricacy of it. I can't speak confidently about it, but that's my rough impression. Okay. Yeah, sure.
On your Firefox bar, between LastPass and your search field,
yeah,
that nothing got that menu that lets you change from user to user.
Yeah.
What is that?
What's it called? Switch cookie.
Because it lives in Firefox, it doesn't live on the site.
No, that's right. It's a Firefox add-on. It's quick switch. I'll double check. Cookie swap is what it is. Cookie swap. Yeah, and it is like Masquerade. That's right. So yeah, and so I don't know, I got used to using Cookie Swap. Cookie Swap's been available since Firefox 3 years. Okay. I don't want to take up other presenters' time.